Manchester City have been charged by the Premier League with alleged breaches of their financial rules between 2009 and 2018. In response, City have expressed their surprise at the announcement and are determined to fight their corner when the case is heard by an independent commission. But while an outcome isn't expected soon, what punishments could City potentially face if they are found to have broken the Premier League rules? All the potential sanctions are set out in Rule W51 of the Premier League's handbook, and there are several, ranging from a simple telling off to expulsion. So if the Premier League's complaint about City is proven, then the club will be able to present any mitigating factors for the independent commission to consider before deciding on a punishment. Then, according to the rule, having heard and considered such mitigating factors, if any, the commission may 1. Reprimand, a slap on the wrists essentially. In this case, the Premier League's complaint would be upheld, but rather than any substantial punishment, City would be told simply not to do it again. 2. A fine. Well, a fine up to an unlimited amount. If the fine or part of it was suspended, City would avoid the suspended amount so long as they did not commit the same or similar breaches over a specific period of time. 3. Suspensions for individuals. Now, as it stands, this rule does not apply to City's case. The Premier League's investigation is into City as a club rather than any of the specific individuals. However, if certain club officials are deemed to have flagrantly broken the rules on the basis of the evidence, they could also be punished in separate proceedings. 4. Suspension. Now, suspension would prevent City from fulfilling their Premier League fixtures for a specific period of time. Unless the commission ordered otherwise, teams due to play them in Premier League matches during the period of the suspension would be judged to have won those games without the fixture needing to be fulfilled. 5. Points deductions. So, of all possible sporting sanctions, a points deduction seems most likely. The biggest question would be whether a deduction would apply retrospectively to the seasons in which the breaches occurred or the season in which the case is decided, and whether that then has an impact on titles previously won. 6. Expulsion. Now, this is the most extreme punishment available to the Commission, and in effect, it would mean relegation from the Premier League. So where would City go? Well, it depends. When a club is relegated from the Premier League, they resign from the top flight and are appointed members of the EFL. The EFL, of course, would likely jump at the chance to accommodate an expelled City for the same reason the Premier League would be reluctant to expel them in the first place. 7. Compensation payments. If damage had been suffered by another club as a result of City's breaches, they could be entitled to claim compensation as part of this disciplinary process. However, the scope for such claims is limited. For example, Manchester United might struggle to claim compensation for narrowly missing out on a Champions League place to City during the 2015-16 season. 8. Transfer bans. So the main way this punishment would be enacted is through the Premier League refusing player registrations. In other words, a transfer ban. The registration of players already at the club could also be cancelled if false information had been provided in the signing of their contracts. That is unlikely in City's case, as the breaches in relation to players date back to 2016. Kevin De Bruyne is the only player still at the club from that time, but has signed new contracts since. 9. Any combination with any other punishment deemed fit. Essentially, any of the mentioned punishments could be used together, and they are not the only ones that could be handed out. So while that would appear to broaden the scope of potential punishments, the Commission will need to ensure that they are proportionate to the breach that has occurred. Now, a few more questions. Would City have the right to appeal? Yes. A club or person that wishes to challenge a disciplinary decision can do so through the Premier League's appeals process. Their appeal would go through the appeal board, which would have the power to accept, dismiss, or change a decision. If that appeal fails, it can be reviewed by way of arbitration under Section X of the Premier League's handbook, but the grounds for appeal at this level are incredibly narrow. Could they appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport? No. And this is because Article 57, 3c of the FIFA statutes allows member associations and leagues like the English Football Association and the Premier League to implement rules where appeals are made to an independent and duly constituted arbitration tribunal rather than CAS. What could influence the severity of any punishment? So if City are found in breach, any decision on punishment will be influenced by aggravating or mitigating circumstances taken into consideration. Any punishment can be mitigated if the club admits the breach or cooperates with the investigation. And on the other hand, sanctions could be harsher if the breach was deliberate, reckless, or negligent. If the club has failed to cooperate or has been found to have breached the rules before. As part of their statement, the league charged City with failing to cooperate and assist its investigation by providing documents for the seasons between 2018-19 and 2022-23. City have vowed to defend themselves against the charges, which would appear to leave little room for potential mitigation further down the line. And finally, what if the Premier League loses? Could City claim compensation? No, as the Premier League is simply exercising its regulatory function. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.